On today's show, what are things looking like for Netflix in a Disney Plus world? Then we've got some bundle information if you want Disney, Hulu, and ESPN Plus. And then Black Adam. Not only did we get a first poster, but the movie has a release date. Happy Friday, everyone. Welcome to Collider Movie Talk. We've got a big lineup for you today, but we are also going to save a whole bunch of time for your live Twitter questions and your live chat questions. So I'm going to tell you right now, start sending those in, catch Dorian's attention, and maybe we'll answer them on the show today. And I get to answer all those questions and talk about these topics with Jeff Sneider and Jay Washington. Have you guys ever done a show together, a movie talk together?
Yeah, we've done a movie talk
together.
together. All three of us have done one together.
Okay. Yeah. I wasn't sure if that had happened before.
No, this has happened before.
I feel like now I just always assume Fridays are you and Donato, and you're on Thursday.
Yeah, it's true.
Okay.
Yeah, this is true. Now I'm here on Friday.
I like how it worked out.
Everything
as
worked
do
out
I.
for the best.
As do I.
I will eventually wake up.
What are you drinking enough caffeine? Come on.
This has like at least 2 extra shots.
Okay.
So hope to God it works.
We got a fancy new espresso machine. You should try that. I can't figure out how to
Do
work
we
it.
There's one in
really?
the office?
I don't know. Yeah, we tried to make it happen last night. I think Wendy and Thad combined got it to work.
Does it make hot chocolate bad?
I didn't get a memo about this. I would have saved my money if I'd have known there was an espresso machine in the office.
Give it a go. Makes all the difference. All right, let's get into this first story here. So Ted Sarandos recently spoke about what's going on over at Netflix now that Disney is out and about with Disney Plus. He downplayed Netflix's concerns about the launch of Disney Plus. And I also want to share 2 quotes regarding what they're going to do to kind of, I don't even want to use the term battle because that's not how he's looking at it. So he says, for us, nothing really changes. They are great at what they do. They're great storytellers. It is great to have competition. Great. Now we're going to move on to the second quote here. There is a lot of viewing that comes from licensed content from other people because there is a lot of it. And for a while, it was all we had. So what they're looking to do right now is they're going to make more original programming so that all of this licensed material doesn't leave them completely empty when it goes back to all these other companies who are now starting their own streaming services. Do you guys think this is the right approach? And do you also agree with the idea that with the streaming services, it's going to be an all boats rise kind of scenario, or is that just wishful thinking?
I think all boats do rise, especially with Netflix, because they just announced they're going to partner with Nickelodeon. So how best do you compete with Disney Plus, them getting all of the old school Nickelodeon shows and saying you're going to bring original content with that and bring some of the stuff back? I think that this first 2 years of the whole streaming thing are going to be pivotal. That's who you'll see who will survive all this. Netflix has been doing their own original programming, so this isn't anything new. Like, it's not a shock to anybody. They've had a bunch of shows that get canceled, a bunch of shows that become successful. Their documentaries are great. So, like, Netflix is good where they are. I don't think anything's wrong with it.
Well, I think that they have been planning for something like this for a little while now, but the fact that Disney Plus opened up with 10 million subscribers, I mean, that in a flash makes it one of the biggest streaming services out there.
But you knew what's going to happen. I mean,
yeah,
of
course.
I think that's the thing. Everybody is shocked and surprised by the number. Like, they got 10 million subscribers in one day. Like, it's Disney Plus. Everybody knew what was coming on it. It's no shock. It's literally no shock. Now it's like, how many people do they retain? Which we won't get a number from that. You know what I'm saying? Because eventually people are like, I don't want this anymore. Some people will fall off.
Well, we even discussed it when we were talking about the app download numbers, is that, there are certain special deals out there that are giving people Disney Plus for free. You don't know how many people are actually going to become legit subscribers.
Exactly. That's the thing. They're not saying 10 million paid subscribers. They're saying there's 10 million subscribers, which is a big difference.
It is. How do you view all this shaking out, Jeff? Is there going to be a time when certain streaming services are kind of cut by the competition, or are they all going to be able to exist in their own spaces?
I mean, I don't know if they'll all last, and if they do, they may operate at a loss. I'm sure one of these streaming services, whether it ends up being Peacock or Paramount Network, could go the way of like a Crackle, which Sony has, but seems to just like forget about. Like they're kind of like sitting the streaming wars out, Sony, and they're like, fine, we'll sell you all our movies to all these different services. 10 million at launch is no doubt an impressive figure for Disney Plus, but I don't think that Netflix really needs to sweat it. I think that, like, even when you look at like movies, Disney had 40% market share, right? Like last year. That's still 60% of the market. that is for adults or people who don't want to watch Disney stuff. So while they do have great content at launch on Disney Plus, I think that Netflix offers a wide variety of stuff that caters to like a whole bunch of different kinds of consumers. It's also very global. They're investing a lot in the international programming. They're going to have multiple Best Picture nominees. And does Disney Plus have a new Michael Bay movie with Ryan Reynolds coming out in a month? No.
Did you see that poster though?
Wait, that was.
Have you looked at the Six Underground poster?
No, there's a poster.
It's not a good poster. I enjoyed that trailer.
I'm excited for that movie.
That trailer felt more like a teaser trailer to me than a full trailer, but I was fine with it. I had fun with it. I still can't understand why they would spend the money on something like that, but they did just release a brand new poster. You guys should go Google it. I think it's on Collider.com as well, but it is like the quintessential example of like a botched Photoshop job. It's like a little ridiculous looking.
Hey, I buy it.
Of course. So with the whole Netflix situation, where do you think that they should be putting their... Oh, no, you looked?
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh, no. that's just sad.
Yeah. That's what happens when you have a whole bunch of famous faces and you just desperately want them in the same poster image.
And you forgot to do the poster and you were like, damn it.
It's almost like anti-marketing.
You like, damn it, I got to do a poster real quick.
It's crazy, too, that we're talking about the Black Adam poster later. It's like, shouldn't everyone just call Boss Logic if they want a really good design? Like, he could have done a great version of that.
He could have did a way better version of this. I mean, when somebody just was like, all right, I learned Photoshop 2 weeks ago, clean this. That's what this looks like. Like
all I'm saying is Disney, I mean, they have The Mandalorian, they have some new movies like Lady and the Tramp and Noelle, but for the most part, it's library stuff.
Yep.
It's stuff you've seen before, and I think that, Netflix, obviously Disney Plus is ramping up its production efforts, but Netflix has a whole bunch of content just constantly coming.
Mm-hmm.
And even with, like you said, with Disney Plus's content, like you brought up earlier, it's for a certain demographic.
Right.
Netflix is for everybody.
Yes.
Like if you want to see R-rated type violence and blood and guts or even more sensual stuff, you're going to get that at Netflix. You're definitely not getting that at Disney Plus.
I feel like we should just weave in the second topic right now because that's like my follow-up to that kind of comment is this bundle that was just announced. So they just announced the bundle for Disney Plus, Hulu, and also ESPN Plus, and what it's going to cost you is, I believe, $12.99 a month, which is the equivalent of a standard Netflix account. That is a lot of material for the same exact price. That also gets you into different genres and different types of programming. So does that change the game competition-wise? Can Netflix lose out because Disney isn't just Disney Plus? It's also this like huge umbrella that covers so much content out there.
It takes away, it takes away people paying an individual subscription for Hulu for sure. But we brought this up earlier before we went on air. Hulu with live TV is a big thing. So for a lot of people who have Hulu with live TV, is that option available? That's something that people got to find out.
I tried to look that up and there was no information when I followed through. And I actually hit the landing page for putting in your credit card information and upping your account. And it still didn't clarify that. I would have had to have called to find out the answer and was not doing that this morning. Jeff, you're not a Disney Plus subscriber, right?
Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet. But I am a Hulu guy. I'm a big Hulu supporter.
What are you into on Hulu? Is it mostly like their original programming or is it some other feature?
There's not that much original programming that I would say that I watch. Every now and then they have something really good like The Looming Tower. But I would say for the most part, I use it to watch broadcast shows a day later. So I watch Law & Order Special Victims Unit, The Goldbergs. I watch a lot of Seinfeld still on it. That's what I'm using Hulu for.
So what's the plan for a possible Disney Plus subscription in the future? What specifically are you waiting for? What could change your tune?
Now I'm paying for Hulu. I guess I could pay the same amount that I'm paying now and just add on Disney Plus and ESPN Plus. I guess I'm going to do that bundle. But it's like I barely know how to take advantage of all these different offers and where to go to sign up for them and et cetera.
I don't know. This one seems kind of black and white to me. It's like you sign up and you get more than you would over at Netflix, and that's the thing that I do wonder. I would love someone to do a proper study out there to answer the question, how many streaming services does the average consumer actually
Remember,
purchase?
we talked about that when we were breaking them all down
Yeah.
at first at one point, because you have so many. Like Peacock, I don't think too many people are getting Peacock. Let's just be honest. I don't think there are people who are getting CBS All Access for the Picard series, Star Trek Discovery,
Right,
is it?
Twilight Zone.
Yeah, the Twilight Zone, things like that. But there's certain other ones, like people are not going to get, like HBO Max will give you HBO and Cinemax. Now, if you want to be a Showtime subscriber, you're going to get that. But then if you want to add on stars, when you go into cable elements. But as far as TV, live TV itself, I think that's an issue too when it comes to Disney Plus. Does Hulu give you the live TV option? Because a lot of people, again, cut the cord, the no cable. This way I don't have to watch it. If I have live TV, I'm good. So
What
what's that?
specifically are you watching on live TV other than
Football
sports?
games.
Just sports,
Other than
yeah.
sports.
Other than sports, look, I need Viacom to step the game up so I can watch my BET and VH1 and MTV, because they have reruns of the Jamie Foxx Show, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and Martin, which are must watches. Okay. What else? An occasional Guys Grocery Games. Certain things you want to watch. Chopped.
So like my brother and my family, they still have cable.
Yeah.
And they're paying every month. So I use their cable logins to watch football via NBC's live app or whatever.
Okay. I'm watching a little football at this point, but the thing that I like to have access to on live TV is news. I do like having access to local news.
That's the last thing I need.
I don't know. There's I know we can get all that stuff on the internet now on Twitter and whatnot, but there is something, I don't know. I've always been very into just news programming, and I always wanted to go in that direction. So there's something about it that's just part of my daily routine.
Yeah. Also for me, I just thought about it. Fox. I'm a wrestler. I watch wrestling. I watch the WWE. I watch SmackDown. Fox has to come on a live package. Now FS1 is a different thing, but Fox itself you need with a live TV subscription.
So if that makes all the difference, how would you apply something like that to the future of Netflix? Do you see Netflix maybe joining forces with some other company, whether it's for live programming like that, or maybe another streaming service that, might need a little help from a bigger company in order to battle this type of bundle?
That's where Fox could come in, because Fox still has the rights to its sports thing. Yeah, sports, that's it. That's it.
Netflix could make its own bid for a sports package.
This is true. This is very true.
They're operating on so much debt already. It's like, why not just go for
keep
it?
over.
Keep going?
Just keep
Right.
going.
I don't know. It would make sense to me. I feel like they need to at least dip their toe in every single thing that Disney Plus has right now.
You have to at this point. I mean, again, your Netflix and Nickelodeon is one thing. You're set with that. That's
The Nickelodeon thing is very appealing to me.
That's your instant matchup to Disney Plus right there, because everybody's going nostalgic. Chippendales Rescue Rangers, DuckTales, and Darkwing Duck. That's me personally. But you have all these. But then now you get Rugrats, Doug, Hey Arnold, all these old Nickelodeon shows with Netflix. Legends of the Hidden Temple, which I'm hoping they bring back because I want to audition for that. Perri,
Can we be on a team?
Yes, we can be the Purple Parrots. We can be the Purple Parrots, Silver
I was
Snakes.
more of an orange iguana kind of
Orange
person,
iguana.
but
We can be.
it's fine.
We can look. We can make these colors happen. I just want to interview. I just want to audition to be the new Kurt Loder. I will wear some khaki cargo shorts, tube socks, and hiking boots. I have my game set for this. Or be the voice of the new old man. Just do all that. The shrine, the silver monk. I have goals for this. But you have all those things that are possible with this pairing up of Netflix and Nickelodeon. Ren and Stimpy is on there now.
Wait, Jeff, I'm so curious.
I'm aggro crag for life, by the way.
Okay,
Gus,
okay.
you're good. Okay, I'll give you this.
I would be all about the Guts reboot. All right. So that is where we stand right now on the whole streaming service situation. Very curious. I'm going to leave it to you guys now. Hit the comments section below. How has your experience been with Disney Plus? Are you wavering between maybe cutting Netflix and just going with Disney Plus? We want to know what you think too. Right now, though, we got to toss it to some promos for some upcoming content on the Collider Video YouTube channel, like this right here.
Hey everyone, John Roca here, the host of Collider Mailbag. A new episode drops every Saturday and Sunday in your face and in your ears, answering the questions from you fans about the world of entertainment, film, and television. Me and great guests from our sphere do the best to answer your questions from Twitter, from Instagram, and of course, email as well, every Saturday and Sunday.
What's up, Collider fans? Ryan Satin here from ProWrestlingSheet.com, where you can find the top stories throughout the week in the world of professional wrestling. If you're a wrestling fan like myself, then you'd be doing yourself a disservice by not checking out all the shows we do every week on YouTube.com/C/Wrestling Sheet. In particular, on Wednesdays, we've got a SmackDown recap show hosted by John Roca and myself, where we pick apart and talk about every little thing that happened on the Blue Brand. So do yourself a favor and go subscribe at youtube.com/C/Wrestling Sheet.
All right. You're right, Jay. You're right. This is like the Pteranodon episode all over again. You're losing it.
Yeah, but it's Jeff this time, not you.
Got that look on your face. I don't like it, but I do like the fact that they finally gave us a poster and a release date for Black Adam. We've been waiting for this movie for quite some time. Now we have this beautiful poster right here. I love this concept art that was officially shared, as was this release date, December 22nd, 2021. If that time of year sounds familiar for a DC movie, that is right around when Aquaman hit theaters and made a ton of money. So first, just briefly, what do you think about this poster? Was this the way to kind of kick off this movie's run and make this announcement?
Yep. Plain and simple.
Yep. You like it, Jeff? Or
I thought it looked pretty cool. I do think it looked awesome. It didn't really look like The Rock for a second. I had to look closer and I don't know. He looks different.
Well, you got to meld the both what Black Adam actually looks like and then The Rock. And then when you put that little soul patch on the top of his head, then you like good.
Yeah, he does look good. Let me tell you something, though. So I dressed up as a superhero for Halloween. A superhero of sorts, anyways.
What were you?
Weed Man.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I dressed as Weed Man, and I put on my green booties, okay? What is with superheroes and these booties? Can we scan down to these booties? He's got these yellow boots.
Those actual boots.
They gotta get rid of these slipper things. I don't know.
That's not a slipper thing.
Look,
I mean,
it's
those look like
is.
Comic book characters have always had those. They've always had those.
Yeah, I think we need new footwear.
No, they're slim to the legs, so they're not bulky and they don't slow you down. And I bet you anything those are waterproof in case
you can't
he's
sell these in a store though. Why aren't they selling superhero boots like NBA shoes?
You can buy them. Talk to Mike Kalinowski.
You can, but they're not selling.
Talk to Mike Kalinowski. He has a closet.
Has his own shoe. Batman should have his own shoe that you can buy and actually wear around, and it's realistic.
From some company out there has his own sneaker. I mean, there's tons of companies out there that are making official Star Wars sneakers that are awesome.
Batman wears tactical boots. What are you talking about? You can get those from Target. What are you talking about?
Well, the yellow booties on Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, I don't love them. I would like to see some meaner footwear. Beyond that, I thought it looked pretty good.
You want to see Black Adam in Air Maxes.
Last criticism I imagine someone saying right now.
Black Adam in Air Maxes, Air Force Ones. That's what
Let's talk a little bit about this release date here, because it's a really good thing to want to recreate the success of Aquaman, because that was a huge box office success for this franchise. But looking at the release calendar for that time of year, the weekend before, you've got Avatar 2, which I don't think we really know what to make of that right now. I think it's going to make a good deal of money, but is it going to be as big as the first one? That could be a reach here. Then going up against Black Adam, you have the fourth Hotel Transylvania movie, and also the previously announced, but I don't know if it's still happening, Wicked movie. So who knows what's going on with that. And then the weekend after, or actually Christmas Day, is a movie called Babylon starring Emma Stone and Brad Pitt. So is that a good time of year for this movie to hit, or is there too much competition already?
The only competition is Avatar 2. It's the only competition. Hotel Transylvania has its own market. That's going to make the money it's going to make by itself. But Avatar 2 is one that you want to go right behind it. I would not be surprised if Warner Bros. Granted, the date, like I said before, this is me being a conspiracy theorist. The palindrome date means something. This is just me being a conspiracy theorist.
But what is the conspiracy? Now I want to know what it means.
No, I just want to find, because again, with the Egyptian lore and everything of the lore of Black Adam, got to do a lot of research on that. I'll get back to you if I figure something out. But I think I wouldn't be surprised knowing about Avatar 2 when it comes out before. You want Black Adam to make as much as it can. I wouldn't be surprised if they try to move it up. I would not be surprised.
I think it's all going to depend on what the tone of this movie is. Is it of a piece with Shazam, or is it a little bit grittier and darker?
So that's the thing too. It is similar to Shazam. Originally, it was supposed to be an anti-hero movie, but in the post that Dwayne Johnson put up, he called him a superhero, which is a completely different take on Black Adam, because Black Adam originally is a villain. He's the main bad guy to Shazam. He's evil as all hell. But now he's going to do the anti-hero version, but then in his post, he kept calling him a superhero. And I'm like, it's just the way he highlighted and capitalized superhero.
I forget the exact words he used, but I thought he was talking about superheroes in general.
No, he was talking about them. He talked about how he idolized Superman and whatnot.
Yeah.
But he even called Black Adam, he was like a special type of superhero. And that was unique to me because of what the character is. So I'm like, how are we going thematically with this movie?
I don't know. The gist that I got from that post, which I kind of really appreciate, is the fact that he points out that, Superman is an incredible superhero, but he was liking the idea of, someone with like more, like some character flaws, which makes for a really interesting story, I think. So, I don't know. Anti-hero seems like the way to go. I have a feeling this is going to be a little darker than Shazam, but I'm assuming that a time is going to come when these two movies converge. So, it's got to have a little touch of what that movie did.
I mean, this is John McCall, right? Who's going to be directing this? So, like, he has a history of some dark stuff, like House of Wax, right? A couple of other genre
love
films.
House of Wax too much.
But he's also like doing the Jungle Cruise movie, so he's moved into kind of safer family fare. So I don't know what this is going to be. This would hint at a darker.
I just want The Rock as a villain.
You could say something like that about Sandberg too with Shazam. It's like he had a history of just doing horror, and then all of a sudden we got, I thought, a very family-friendly superhero movie with that one scene. That
I was just about to say,
violent.
remember that one scene? He made sure you got that horror element, because that one was like, whoa, this was unexpected. For those who didn't see the movie.
Back to box office really quick. What do you think this movie's chances thus far? I know it's very early, but what do you think its chances are of getting more Aquaman success? Or at this point, are you guys believing that Avatar could be the next big, yet again, box office smash hit?
I mean, Avatar is a big question mark, because you're right. It is one of the biggest movies of all time, but at the same time, I don't sense that appetite. I feel like the moment, like, people went to see Avatar because of the technology, really. It wasn't because of Sam Worthington or the story. It was James Cameron and the effects. And now that we've seen those in that world, I don't know that the want to see will be quite as high.
Except it's James Cameron, so I'm sure there's going to be...
No one turned out for this Terminator movie either with his name on it.
He wasn't the director on it. I feel like the second he directs something, and also it's like this new Avatar movie, it's not going to obviously be showing off, the same tech as the last one in a new fashion, but he's adding more to it. There's going to be more things that he does in that movie that no one's done before.
But can you say that the anticipation has died down for that? Because a lot of people, remember, it's like, oh, we won't get Avatar 2 till he gets the technology to do Avatar 4. And it's like, yo, just give us the sequel already.
I've been one of the biggest Avatar naysayers for years. I mean, I got the biggest laugh every single time these movies got pushed back and back and back. But I feel like now that this date is locked, this movie is hitting theaters on that date, and I just get the feeling that, I don't know, that interest is going to creep back in. You don't have one of the biggest box office releases of all time and just have anticipation fizzle out like that.
A lot has changed, though. I don't know. And I don't think that Black Adam has to worry about those other movies like Wicked or Babylon.
Is Wicked even happening? What is with Wicked?
Is it?
Jeff, I want to know I lived in New York for how many years, and I barely saw like any Broadway productions, which is a shame. I got obsessed with Wicked for a while.
You and every other woman I met at NYU.
Exactly. There was something about it, and I've wanted that movie for so long, and I still don't believe it's going to happen.
I think that we are getting closer to a Wicked movie.
Okay. I like that. I like having a little hope in my life.
That's so sweet. That's so sweet.
All right. Before we go into your live chat questions, I did want to do a little bit of a box office preview with you guys, because there's a ton of stuff coming out. There's also maybe a certain embargo that's just lifted where some of us have seen the movie. But first, for the big new releases of the weekend, who here has seen Ford v Ferrari?
Not I.
What say you about Ford v?
I thought it was absolutely terrific.
Yes.
I thought it was just a rip-roaring ride, a piece of a great piece of old school entertainment. Thanks to a couple winning performances by Christian Bale, Matt Damon, James Mangold. He knows how to make these crowd-pleasing mainstream movies, and he had another home run with this one.
I mean, as cheesy as it sounds, if you want to go on a ride at the movies, that is what it feels like. I'll tell you, I was sitting in my seat at that TIFF premiere, and before before I knew it, it gets so intense. It's like you're gripping your armrests, and you don't realize until like the action dies down and you let go that like, what was I doing this entire time? It's riveting. Am I the only one who has seen Charlie's Angels?
Yes. You're probably the only one who's going to go see Charlie's Angels up here.
I am curious. The reviews maybe changed my mind, but
from a box office perspective, I think that's probably true because it's tracking bad. But I am very pleasantly surprised that it, I really liked it from a quality perspective.
Because I remember how you talked about it.
I know.
I remember when we saw the trailer, you were like,
I had no faith in that movie whatsoever. I thought those were terrible trailers, but I think the actual movie itself, I'm still not behind Elizabeth Banks as a unique director where I can look at that movie and say nobody could direct that quite like Elizabeth Banks. I think she does a serviceable job. I just have no clue what her style is yet, which, I want to learn more about that if she's going to continue working behind the lens. But the three of them are just undeniable. It's like so charming, so much fun to watch them. It's a good time.
Oh, okay.
So that leaves one more wide release.
See it after this, Jay.
No, I won't.
Maybe we'll play hooky.
No, you will. You won't put me in that category, sir. No, you will not.
The Good Liar. You saw The Good Liar.
I was really looking forward to this movie. I thought the trailers just looked delicious. Matt Goldberg gave it a great review, I think, on Collider. It didn't quite work for me just because I felt like the audience is 10 steps ahead of this movie. It's like you'd only be fooled by this movie if you've never seen a movie before.
I think it's 10 steps ahead, except for like one particular plot point that I'm like, whoa, like where did that come from? You didn't earn that.
Yeah, I don't want to say anything, too much for fear of spoiling it.
Yeah.
Because you really can only enjoy this movie if you're going in blind, I think, in a sense. But it wasn't bad. Like, it's fun to watch Ian McKellen and Helen Mirren do their thing. But it didn't quite work for me.
Yeah. All right. So of the three, Ford v Ferrari seems to be getting the most love.
Yeah.
What's your top priority this weekend?
Ford v Ferrari.
Okay.
Yeah.
Smart move.
I'm all for only because I'm all for seeing Christian Bale do a movie with his regular voice. I'm all for that because a lot of people didn't know that was his voice.
Wait, what?
A lot of people didn't know that he's Australian.
Welsh.
Oh,
He's
yeah,
Welsh.
no,
Welsh.
I know that.
A lot of people who like not in the industry and not do study movies a lot. Not a lot of cinephiles know that he's Welsh. Right. So when they hear him talk with this regular accent, they like, where did this come from? It was a shock when we found out Idris Elba was British. Because he was Stringer Bell, and he was like, Stringer Bell's British. Like what? So that's what I'm interested in seeing.
I want to talk about one more limited release this weekend before we get into an upcoming one, Waves. You've seen Waves.
Yeah, I thought Waves was okay. I was more into the first half than the second half. The performances are strong across the board, and I think that he's a really good director, Trey Edward Schultz. But the script didn't. It's like two very distinct halves of this movie, and it didn't quite coalesce for me.
It did. They're very distinct, and I can understand why that shift might be very jarring, but I like how those two distinct halves bring out so much from the opposite side. Especially, I've seen it twice now, and I feel like it was even more impactful the second time around when I realized what was happening and, like smaller details of all the themes that he's exploring here. So I don't know. I thought it was something else. I think Trey Edward Schultz is kind of one of the best rising directors out there. And you've been saying it since the beginning of the year. Taylor Russell. She's something else.
Yeah, she's good in this movie. Kelvin Harrison's really good. Sterling K. Brown. Like I said, I liked all the performances. But yeah, I don't know.
So I guess having seen it doesn't bring it up a couple notches on the FYC prediction list for you?
I think if anything, it'll be an indie spirit thing. I think that Oscar nominations would be hard to come by for that movie.
All right, understandable. We got one more upcoming release to discuss because Queen and Slim just made its AFI premiere last night, so we are allowed to talk about it again. Jeff and I have seen it. Jeff, what'd you think of this one?
I was a big fan of Queen and Slim. I read the reviews, the trade reviews this morning, and one of them called it uneven. And I can see that it's not a perfect movie. There are definitely some flaws, but I thought it was a kind of beautiful love story, and it had a lot to say about race and our society and our our relationship with law enforcement. And the two of them were really good together. They had good chemistry, Daniel Kaluuya and Jodie Turner-Smith. So
I saw some tonal inconsistencies that kind of just like made me pause and think about it at the beginning of the movie, but once it hits its stride, and also some of the little details that, you know, at first I thought might have been flaws or, you know, a lack of character development or something like that wound up, you know, kind of manifesting and becoming stronger in ways that I've never quite seen it before. So I appreciated that they wound up achieving their goal through like a different viewpoint, and a different path, and a different storytelling technique. So this one in the end was a pretty big winner for me.
They've been selling it as the Black Bonnie and Clyde, and I think that is a little bit misleading. I do think it is a little bit more like a Thelma and Louise type of story, but it has a great ending. And I've seen a lot of movies this year that have kind of botched their endings, or that I didn't care for their endings, whether it was Parasite or Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I know, you know, a lot of people would disagree with me on those fronts. But I didn't love the endings of those movies, which were both otherwise excellent. And I think that Queen and Slim has a really good ending. And that's important, to send the people out of the audience feeling satisfied.
Agreed. I really dug the style of the whole thing, too. I think it was a brilliant move to have shot this on film. And there's something about, you know, the style of the photography that's super intimate that I think really helps them. And there's so much imagery. I mean, even the image on the TV right now, there's just so many striking shots of the two of them that are just seared in your brain.
I want to ask Jay about this. I mean, I feel like this is kind of the rare film where they allow a black male lead to be vulnerable, and I don't get to. I feel like you don't get to see black men be very vulnerable on screen very often. What do you think?
It's just the films don't get a lot of notoriety. I think that's the biggest thing. It happens a lot, more than people give it credit for. But it's just, you have a lead like Daniel Kaluuya, who everybody's like, okay, we got to see this. You have these other leads who people don't care about and things like that, so everybody falls away from the film. So it does happen a lot. And for it to be in this type of film that's getting this type of press and this type of buzz is great.
I am really thinking that this could pop when it hits theaters wide, actually, on November 27th. We were talking about that Fandango most anticipated of the holiday season poll, and I was kind of surprised, because I had been viewing this, even though it's getting a wide release, more as like a limited release as far as like buzz and potential box office returns go, but that was on a number of their most anticipated categories lists. Like, people are really excited to see the two of them, to see her in her first major leading role in a feature film. And like you said, they're incredible together.
There's a lot of anger in this country right now, particularly directed towards police. And I think that this movie does a good job of capturing that.
All right. So Queen and Slim, if you guys want to see it, hits theaters nationwide on November 27th. Do tell us what you think when you catch the film. As promised, we saved a whole bunch of time for a lot of questions here. So let's start at the very beginning. We have a question from Topper Piano. Did you ever watch a bad movie or TV show just because it has an actor that you like? For me, I'll watch anything Fassbender does, good or bad. So who's your person that no matter what it is, you're going to see what they do?
Samuel L. Jackson. No matter what he does, I'm watching. Because I've watched Formula 51 God knows how many times. Just to watch Samuel L. Jackson with cornrows, a kilt, and named Elmo McElroy is the greatest thing ever.
Okay.
Changing lanes, some people have different feelings about that. Snakes on a Plane, of course, because it's snakes on a plane.
What do you got, Joe?
I guess someone like Brad Pitt. Like, not that he does a lot of bad stuff, but I think I would see Brad Pitt in anything.
I kind of went the opposite route, and I started to think of just up and comers that really excite me. Because when you're first starting out, there's certain situations when you have to get roles to kind of build your resume. And I'll watch anything some people do. But now I'm also thinking about directors. It's like Jeremy Saulnier. After Blue Ruin, Green Room, I didn't really love Hold the Dark, but none of that matters. I'm gonna watch every single thing he makes. I'd probably put Trey Edward Schultz in that category too. Destin Daniel Cretton, as far as directors go. We already brought up Kelvin Harrison Jr. He can be in anything, and I will watch it at this point. I'd probably put Lupita Nyong'o on that list. Especially with the range of stuff she's capable of doing right now, because if I just stick to Lupita movies, I can guarantee that I'm going to get a little of everything.
I actually have a better answer for this question. The answer for me is Kevin Smith. I'm loyal to Kevin Smith.
Okay.
Kevin Smith has put out a lot of not a lot, but
you watched
definitely
the movie where he became
movies,
a teacher to MMA fighter? You watched that movie too?
Which one?
The one he became like an MMA fighter for a minute.
I don't remember.
Yeah, there's a Kevin Smith. No, not Kevin Smith. I think Kevin James. Wrong Kevin.
Wrong Kevin.
Very different Kevin.
I did not see Here Comes the Boom. Actually, I may have seen it.
Wait, Kevin Smith has bad movie. What movie is Kevin Smith?
But like Yoga Hosers. Like Yoga Hosers was practically unwatchable. But I was there for Jay and Silent Bob reboot because I will see anything that Kevin does.
All right. And he did Tusk too, right?
I love Tusk.
I'm scarred for life from Tusk.
love Tusk.
I still think my sister will not forgive me for making her watch Tusk. Jay, Jeff, actually, you have an admirer you have many admirers, but you have one specific one in the chat right now. Stephanie Markella is saying, Jeff looking gorgeous as per usual. I think it's the morning,
Mrs. Tusk.
I think it's the morning diet of goldfish that really brings out the glow in your face.
What? The goldfish and bring out your skin tone,
I
Jeff.
know. Costa Rica Clementine. Thank you, Miss Markel.
Here's a question from Chris Robinson, who's asking, are other entertainment options having larger effects on box office? For instance, will Disney Plus and a major game release like Jedi Fallen Order cause a lower box office take this weekend? I am very curious about that.
Ooh.
My answer is yes. I do think that there will be enough people who stay in this weekend to just see what Disney Plus offers and fool around with that service that they will maybe skip going to a movie that they might have gone to see. And it actually feels like Charlie's Angels might be the victim of that.
Yeah, I think it's going to be every film that feels the effect of that. I said it in my box office predictions. I am just being super conservative with my numbers this week because I don't think there's enough money to go around for everything.
I forgot about Jedi Fallen Order, and I realized I looked on Twitter this morning, and everybody was talking about it consistently between Twitter and Facebook. So, yeah, that's definitely going to take a hit this weekend. People will knock out Jedi Fallen Order this weekend. Then next weekend, it'll start to, we've played the game already. Now let's get out and do what we got to do. So, yeah, whoops.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting weekend at the box office for sure. I got an FYC question now from Riley Jack, who wants to know, what performance this year did you think had Oscar potential but was quickly forgotten? I thought Zac Efron was going to be in the mix for playing Ted Bundy in Extremely Wicked. One of my favorite things about Gold Derby, I love Gold Derby. I am so honored to be a part of Gold Derby because I've been a fan for so long, but is watching the odds change from the very beginning of the year to the end, because the odds are in the favor of typical awards package movies. And it's just so fascinating to me how many of those don't pan out. It's like The Good Liar, for example. Helen Mirren and Ian McKellen had some pretty good odds for a long, long time. And that is not an Oscar movie at all.
I'm trying to think of movies earlier in the year.
The Report. I think that would be my main answer to this question. Everybody left Sundance saying The Report is going all the way. I think they even might have not have added as many extra screenings because they were so confident that they got what they needed from the
Sundance bubble is real, and it is terrifying because it's the same critics who seem to get caught up in the hype every year at that festival. No, my answer is going to be the space movies. Brad Pitt and Ad Astra and Natalie Portman and Lucy in the Sky. Those are two performances that I expected to be in the mix around this time of year, and they are just definitely not.
Yeah, because Ad Astra came and went. It was so hyped up in a sense, and then after it released, it was like, all right, let's move on to all these other movies that are about to come out.
Yeah.
That's literally how the hype for that one went.
Up there. I think the Sundance bubble does exist. It obviously does, but I don't know. I feel like that's true of any festival. You have to be one of the few that really breaks out. It's like we've had a couple that actually do that.
I just thought about one.
It's like The Farewell. The Farewell is a great example of a movie that had a very successcul launch at Sundance, and now as a limited release has a good chance of getting into the conversation.
That movie sold for $5, right? And Late Night and Blinded by the Light. All these other movies sold for 13, 14.
I'm definitely
and
not
The Farewell was the one that made
spending.
20, and the other ones lost money.
Well, yeah, I think that's a sign that certain buyers should rethink their offers before spending crazy amounts of money on a movie like that.
Rocket Man, Taron Egerton. Because remember, after what Rami Malek did in Bohemian Rhapsody, people were automatic. Before the movie had even released, people were throwing Taron Egerton in there. They saw the trailer, and then a lot of people gave him high reviews and a lot of praise after the movie, and his name stayed in people's mouths.
Because it was May, no one had seen a good movie for 6 months.
It was Taron Egerton.
Well, I mean, going back to that time of year, I'd probably put Avengers Endgame on this list right now. It's like, yeah, we're still talking about it because Disney makes a lot of noise with their website there, but I don't know. I was so high on that one getting into so many categories, and I still think it's obviously going to get technical nominations, but I thought it was going to get into some of the big six even, and I've truly forgotten about it when making my predictions.
I am an MCU fan. I cover this and knew Avengers Endgame would not get into the big 6 category.
You know, well, when a movie becomes...
best picture possibly, but
Yeah.
the actor, actress supporting either or, that I didn't see. Director, the odds of them giving the Russos a nomination for that are slim.
My big thing was Best Picture.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't become the highest earning movie of all time and not get a Best Picture nomination. But now I'm starting to think otherwise, because now I'm hitting a point where I think other movies have a better chance, to the point that like certain other ones that are above Endgame on my list don't even have room to get in.
It's 10 slots for Best Picture, and every year we get stuck with 9. Every year. They always do it.
Isn't it just like the odds of the way that process works out? Isn't it like less likely for there to be a full 10?
It's all but impossible.
Yeah.
People think this could actually be the first year that it happens.
Really?
With all the movies this year, yeah.
But yeah, I think mathematically it's just very, very unlikely.
Yeah, I think it's more about math than overall quality. Here's a question from Samuel Mooser, who's asking, I just have Netflix and Disney Plus. Oh, he's telling us about his streaming choices. Every time a new season of Game of Thrones came out, I would renew it, but when it ended, I would lose it. Same with Westworld. Oh, so he's got Netflix and Disney Plus, and he was just jumping in for HBO, I guess, for particular shows, which could be a thing, which is probably why it's a very good thing for Disney Plus right now that everybody is so into The Mandalorian. Hook them early and quickly. Thelonious has a box. Oh, no, this is never happening. Thelonious is asking us, can Charlie's Angels beat Ford v Ferrari at the box office this weekend? No. No. It's never, ever going to happen.
That is not even in the realm of possibility of the multiverse of happening in different universes. That's not going to happen.
Charlie's Angels isn't just going to underperform. I have a feeling it's going to severely underperform.
But then when it does that, will that hurt Elizabeth Banks as a director going forward?
No, I don't think that it will.
So.
But I think it could reflect poorly on making Kristen Stewart the lead in another like blockbuster, particularly if Underwater underperforms too in January. 2 big studio movies back to back.
I guess so. I don't know. I look at it less as an issue for Kristen Stewart as a lead in a big movie like that, and more as like stop with the reboots, stop with bringing back franchises that there's not that much interest in. I think the failure of Charlie's Angels is going to make, the Sony execs take a big step back and reassess what they're doing, because between this being a failure and Men in Black International not launching another iteration of that franchise, especially when you've got leads like Tessa Thompson and Chris Hemsworth, it's like, you got to rethink what you're doing there.
You booked them as the leads because you saw their chemistry in the MCU and you figured that fan base was just going to automatically gravitate over. And they automatically were like, nah, I'm good.
Well, that has been proven time and time again with MCU actors who are the biggest of the big when a movie like Endgame comes out and then it's like just their starring vehicle and it doesn't work. Or at least it doesn't draw a crowd. It could still work from a quality perspective.
But with the reboots, also like Sony looking at that, and then you have Dark Fate not doing well.
Sony,
and it's not a reboot directly, but you have these franchises that people are not just, they're like, give us something new.
Sony and Paramount are having a rough go.
Yep.
I just wish Paramount put all their resources this year behind Crawl, because there was a great original movie that didn't make a lot of money because I don't think it was promoted enough.
Sony's having a good year.
Well,
yeah, for the most part, Sony's having a good year.
I think it's just the reboot busts that seem like a colossal waste of money to me.
High profile. Charlie's Angels, though, it only costs like 50.
50, yeah.
I mean, the marketing
I thought that was
spend
mid-range.
was definitely significant, but
I think Escape Room is their biggest hit of the year. In my eyes, at least. No, they're having a good year, too, with Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. And they have a whole bunch of big releases coming out in the next couple of weeks that could have a very strong Oscar season for them.
Hey, I'm with you on Escape Room. Escape Room was amazing.
I can't wait for the second
I did not
one.
expect Deborah Ann Woll to impress me that much. She was
in that
amazing
movie.
in that movie.
Here's a question from Jonathan Caro, who wants to know, what are your favorite car movies or movie cars? Do you have a favorite car in a movie? Christine. I have to go with Christine.
Of course, because it's a horror movie first and foremost.
And I love Stephen King. I love that book.
my favorite car in a movie.
I think my favorite car scene in a movie is the Scream car scene when Neve Campbell is trying to hide in the car and the locks are going up and down, then the trunk slowly comes up. I love that scene.
Car scene.
I mean, I love Ryan Gosling in Drive, but he's got a couple of different cars, I feel like, in that movie.
All I can picture is the jacket.
New Jersey Drive was always one for me. It's a classic hood movie. Like it's a cult classic in the hood.
The station wagon in Vacation. That's an iconic one.
That's a pretty iconic car.
But if we're gonna go iconic, you got to do Gone in 60 Seconds with car scenes and car movies in general. You have to talk garbage.
But there's not. Is there one car that stands out in that one though?
Eleanor.
I'm just thinking.
But the Batmobile.
The Batmobile is
There you
like
go.
one of the. The Batmobile is one of the
Tumbler
most
for me.
iconic
The Tumbler for
cinematic
me.
cars.
The Tumbler
Yeah.
one was for me. Even the one in Batman Returns when it finally went up the walls, when Michael Keaton had the one where it went up the wall at the side of the building. That was Batman Returns, right? Yeah, I believe so.
I'm trying to think of any other cars.
I just
out there.
got this great Cars poster that Jack wants me to bring into the office. It's the filmography of Cars.
Oh, really?
And it's all these famous different cars from like movies and television, like the Mystery Mobile from Scooby Doo, things like that.
Can you please bring that in?
We'll see.
I have to applaud Jeff.
We got to get
because
Mark Fernandez to pay for the framing. Though.
So much of the decoration in the office right now is because you have brought in a great supply of posters, and now I have a Scream poster in my vicinity that I greatly
How did
appreciate.
you not think this one, Perry? I'm sad you didn't think of this
With
one.
the Jeep in Jurassic Park?
Yes.
I've
Iconic.
I've very seriously considered, I don't know if it would have the same effect, but putting some sort of Jurassic Park decal on my little Mini Cooper. I kind of want it.
Please do it.
Dude,
Should I?
Do it.
Technically, my Mini Cooper is the Hulkbuster.
the Hulkbuster.
I put out a poll a couple years ago, and I think
That was the name?
It was either going to be the Hulkbuster or Mini Driver.
That's funny. Mini
I enjoyed
Mini
them both. I
Driver is
enjoyed them
funny.
both.
Do the decal from Jurassic Park.
I liked Stuntman Mike's car in Death
Oh, yeah,
Proof.
Death Proof.
That's a great
Okay,
car.
That's a great car. That's a great
Medusa
car.
and Bellflower. Yeah.
Oh my God! Not enough people talk about Bellflower.
That's a cool car.
It's a
So
cool
it's
car.
Fernandez's office. I
It's
gave
just
it to
like
him. He won't
cool,
watch
it's
it.
a cool movie too that not enough people saw. All right, let's get in another question here from MK Songbird, who wants to know: does anyone know why The Lodge was pushed from a November 15th release today to February? Also, why do you think Neon doesn't receive the same accolades that A24 does? Personally, I think it's only a matter of time.
Neon's great. If you, I mean, they look at my Twitter feed. They get the accolades.
Yeah.
I'm a big Neon guy, but I don't think that this was maybe the right time of year for The Lodge. Maybe if it had come out in December, maybe if it had come out a month earlier in October. But yeah, Thanksgiving doesn't really seem like a good horror play for me.
I don't know. I don't necessarily think that it's that. I actually do wonder if it might have been a Disney Plus thing, just because it's not going to be a wide release. And I don't know, maybe just with what's happening at the box office right now, they were worried about
I think
attention
everybody
being
just
taken
I just
away
watched
from it.
31 days of horror movies for October. Like, you know, it's weird.
Like people need a refresher after a whole month of horror.
But you just said it. Disney Plus has scared a lot of people. This is its first weekend.
Well, but they should still be afraid in February. I don't have the February release calendar handy right now, but I think the month of February is one horror movie after the next.
Oh, yeah, we did
every
talk about that,
single
yeah.
weekend.
Yeah, we did talk about that before on here. The fact
It
February.
was the Lodge, Fantasy Island.
Wait, Fantasy Island is a horror movie?
Fantasy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you not watch that? You should watch that.
I didn't watch the trailer. I just like.
I like that
don't.
trailer.
Wait, Fantasy Island is a horror.
But I'm pretty sure that the 4 movies are Fantasy Island, The Lodge, Invisible Man, and I'm missing one, and I can't remember what it is.
See, I'll find it.
But that is a lot of back-to-back horror for 1 month as far as box office goes, and I think that
Brahms, The Boy 2.
I can't with that. I am forcing myself to watch for real that first The Boy movie and see the entire.
So bad.
Deep down, I know it's bad, but technically, I fell asleep for like 80% of it, so I should go and watch it.
The cast is an upgrade this time around.
Yeah.
I was going to try to find out the movies in February on Box Office Mojo, but it's updating.
He already got it.
Oh, okay.
He already got it.
It took longer than it should have, though, box office. Mojo.
Yeah, okay.
I can't.
Yeah,
I want to have a whole panel topic about Box Office Mojo because I try so hard to keep an open mind because I know updates are necessary. You got to keep, refreshing things. And sometimes the best business model isn't just sticking with what works. But I had a moment the other day where I was working on my predictions and I'm like, you know what? Like, I give up. I just can't.
You can't even sort by studio.
No, you can't sort by studio.
Maybe you can.
Yeah, there are so many features though, or at least it's like the navigational map is not nearly the same, and it makes it very difficult to compare releases, very difficult to go back in time and look at certain things. I'm very, very frustrated.
Wait, we have some breaking news here. This is
Please tell
exciting.
me.
Clive Owen to play Bill Clinton in the American crime story impeachment about Monica Lewinsky. Wow.
Okay.
Clive Owen and Beanie Feldstein. That is a weird pairing.
That's a pairing I never thought that I would hear, but Clive Owen's great. Beanie Feldstein's great. I'm sure they're going to do a great job.
Wow.
3 greats, just like Netflix.
Great.
All right. I think that's our cue to exit. Thank you guys so much for spending your Friday morning with us. Jeff, Jay, thank you for being here. I hope you both have a wonderful weekend.
Thank you.
Same to you, Adam in the booth, Thad in the live chat today. You guys rock. I always appreciate your help and hard work. To everybody out there, thank you for sharing a week of movie talk with us. I hope you come back next week. I will be here on Monday, and then God help you all, you are back in the hands of John Roca, who is returning to the show, and he will be hosting a good deal of the shows next week.
Dude, God help you all. Roca's coming back.
No, I'm just messing. I'm just poking him. He's wonderful. Roca's going to do a great job.
We really
did.
John.
We haven't had him in the office all week. It feels like there's something
People
missing.
People are wondering. They're like, did Roca get fired?
Roca's out of the office for a very, very good reason, and I hope he is enjoying every second of it. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Like and share this episode, and head on over to the Collider Live YouTube channel because that show kicks off at 10 a.m. PT.
Roca, you're fired.